limits or push your limits or find metaphor or things that are honest to your experience?
So the first published graphic novel that I had, it was like horror World War II. People said to me a couple of times, you hear something more than once, you start to listen. It wasn't scary enough, so I was like, all right. So I did I went the full gross out, right? I made a grindhouse horror, so it's exploitation, it's sex, drugs, violence, over the top stuff for the next two graphic novels, which were called The Infernal Pact and Cherry Blackbird. And Cherry Blackbird got, like, people either loved it or hated it. It all came polybagged. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it in comic book stores, but there's a birthing scene in the first 5 pages from a guy's butt, and it's a demon coming out. And they were like, there's no, I think the quote from a reviewer was, there is no reason to show a demon erupting from a human anus with that level of detail. So, and no publisher would pick it up. I was self-publishing that until I became a publisher, and then I put it out under my own brand, and it did fine. So, but, you know, doing YA and horror, I think is a little bit difficult. And so I've challenged myself with this 7 Years in Darkness book that is coming out now. These kids start off at 11, there's no nudity, there's no language. But as they get older, they're gonna act like teenagers do when they hit like 13, 14. I'm not, you know, I live with teenagers. So definitely the first couple of graphic novels are more in the YA, and then as they get older, the content becomes more mature, so it's going to grow with them. So definitely years 3 through 5 are like more teen books. By year 7, there could be a mature book because these kids are like 18. So
that's really interesting. So in your book, the audience is aging with the characters.
That's right.
Okay, so I know, you know, Harry Potter does something similar, I guess, in terms of the early book is very much more juvenile, and then it sort of matures, and you watch them grow that way.
Which it's an interesting experiment as well. I already know how the book ends, but it's, you know, the journey that you're building along the way is what makes it interesting and fascinating. So
Well, you have to change the maturity rating for stores as you go. That's interesting.
What we, you know, I originally this was being published through Comics Experience Publishing before I got my rights back. Before they turned it into a graphic novel, they wanted to like change the name and do a couple of things I didn't agree with. Anyway, the company that was it wasn't Simon & Schuster, it was like IPG, wanted to put it out as a YA graphic novel, and so I was like, oh, that, you know, that makes sense. This is a pretty, except for there is violence, kids die, but kids die in some very popular YA books.
Hunger Games.
But yeah, it seemed natural that, like, as I was growing up as a kid, I remember a lot of these things, and you know, as you're developing, how your sort of level of how much crap you're gonna take from people changes, and how you talk to people. So yeah, it'll be interesting when I get to the guts of those books, because they will be maturing again with my kids. So I'm watching them, I'm watching their friends and the stuff they get up to, and I'm like, oh, okay, now they're dropping the F-bomb a lot lately.
And it seems like you can only do that now. Like, you were working with a publisher, and now you're
now I am
independently publishing. So in terms of constantly shifting the age group, because when you work with a publisher, they really want to categorize everything, right?
The idea would be, you know, the first couple books would end up in like middle schools, and then possibly high school for the next couple books, and then after that, the kids that were reading it, they will eventually be like, yeah, now I remember this series, I'm gonna finish it now that it's like, you know, they'll have to go to the bookstore. It's not in their, you know, their school library. But I mean, yeah, that's the great thing about being your own publisher, and we do have distribution and everything, but I get to make these decisions that might have been more unpopular with other, you know, established publishers.
For sure. Now, let's talk a little bit about the things that inspire us. Where do you sort of draw your inspiration from in terms of outside sources? Do you often look for, like, I know for me, I often like to look through sort of the quote unquote true stories out there, and some of the things that happen in real life are far more twisted than you could possibly imagine, I find. Do you find in terms of, like, there's certain authors you look for, or do you listen to certain podcasts or blogs or research certain stories, or is it movies, is it novels?
I listen to Morbid. Anybody in here listen to Morbid
No.
podcast? It's fascinating. It's these two millennial women. They're an aunt and a niece, and they cover true crime. And it's like sitting in a room with friends or something discussing these horrible, horrible things that are happening. They've got like 600 episodes or something at this point. So you guys listen to it?
Oh yeah,
It's great, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done a deep dive on sort of the serial killer for so long that I made a book. It's called We Don't Kill Spiders. It takes place in the Viking Age, and it's a necromancer and a witch hunting down a serial killer. So that definitely influenced that entire story. But yeah, that's if you guys aren't listening to Morbid, it's a good podcast. Check it out.